Hey guys, in today's video, I'll be demonstrating how you can use a simple file upload exploit to compromise a web server. Now, this is extremely important as some of my friends recently fell victim to such attacks. Hopefully, by the end of this video, you'll be armed with the knowledge to protect yourself and your businesses. Now, this is especially important for those who are hosting websites and other platforms and would like to secure the web application against such attacks. Also, this tutorial will serve as a great starting point for those who would like to jump into the lucrative field of cybersecurity. Now, let's come here and let's take a look at the server I'm running. Now, this is a simple web application that I've been running in my home lab on a separate Linux machine. Now, as you can see, this server has many options, and the one I wanted to focus on today is the file upload vulnerability because this is as close as we can come to show in real world terms how some hacker can exploit your web server where you might be hosting a chat room or you want to make your site much more a blog much more user friendly and interactive, so you've allowed them to upload pictures and other file types to keep it to keep them engaged. Or maybe you're running a sales online marketplace and you allow your customers to upload any sort of files. So this is where this exploit comes in. Now, in the low security level, what happens is that you don't really put any restrictions on the type of files the person can upload. So in universities and all those places, you'll see that they only allow for Word types, JPEGs, and other sort of formats. But let's say your company or you're hosting a website and you've allowed open access for any person to upload any sort of file, and this is how they'll be able to hack you. So now let's see how this happens. So let's set it to low where it allows for any sort of file uploads. Now if we go to the file upload page, you'll see it gives us, it's very normal looking, a normal common standard practice that you'll see a page where it tells you, okay, oh, you can upload a file right here. So this is where they attack you. So they're gonna come to my window. Let me just increase my privileges, and sorry about that. Yeah, now we're in. Let's just open a second terminal 2 here so we can work easier and it's all uh, observable. I'm just going to increase the sizes for this so that you guys can see what I'm writing. So the first thing we need to do is generate a file which would include our malicious web code. And in order to do this, there's this tool called MSF Venom. And what this does is you have to give the arguments for it, MSF Venom, and then dash p would suggest what kind of a payload this is, because we're going to be exploiting a website. We know it runs on a PHP. So we're going to say, okay, we want a PHP format interpreter. This is the shell that we're going to use to explore to gain access towards it, and a reverse TCP. You know your protocols. TCP is the basic protocol used by all sort of systems to connect with the internet. UDP is used to load videos and for video streaming services or for video calls, but TCP is what you use to access the web. So simply he's gonna tell the L host is basically my IP address. So you can check that out simply using if config, and you'll see that IP address is available right here. So I have to provide them to the IP address the shell has to connect back to, and then I specify a port. It can be any number I want, but usually it's good practice to not choose a port which is under 1024, because that actually, those ports are actually reserved for other applications. Then I simply tell it the format I want is raw, and the output of the file I would like to have should be called harmless.php. Now this is a joke in itself because it's not going to be harmless at all, as you'll see in a bit. Now meanwhile that's been generated, I want to open my MSF console. Basically this is the uh, program we'll be using to start our netcat listener, which will basically be ready to accept any connections that would be coming hopefully from the web server. Now that our harmless PHP is generated, I just want to show you guys how a virus even look like, especially in layman terms of virus, but what we the proper term is payload. So this is basically what it's called, and you'll see that here it provides the IP address of wherever it has to connect to and the port it has to connect to. The rest basically is command for the web server to execute so that the connection is made there and I can use that to connect back to myself. So let's just close this. I just want to show you guys now that we have our harmless.php. Actually, I just want to do one more thing to make it a bit more. I'm going to go to desktop YouTube and I already have a folder called DVWA. And let's just move my file harmless.php into my current folder. Now, if you'll see, I have harmless in my current folder, which is desktop YouTube DVWA. Let's just clear this. Now, if I come back to my MSF console, I would want to open a listener shell. So the commands for that is use exploit, multi-handler. Then we don't want a generic payload, so we're gonna set our own payload, which was a PHP interpreter and reverse TCP. Now that this is done, all we have to do is set the L host, which is our IP address dot what was it? Was it 19? Let me just check. Yes, it was 19. Just clear this and the L and the port. So L port is going to be 9000 as we specified in the payload. Now I'm simply going to run this so that it's running and I'm going to come back to my page. So this is that was the process of creating the virus, like some would say, or the payload. Now all I'm going to do is just like normally, I'm going to go back to the folder and I'm going to go upload this file. Now again, the first thing, and it's been successfully uploaded. Now the first thing I would like to point out that you can secure this even if you allow people to upload any sort of files. There's still some measures you can take to secure your platform. First of all, never show the person where the file is being uploaded, because then the person can simply, you know, go to that place to execute the file. So although they'll be able to find out through other tools like GoBuster and all that, but you should never make it easier for the hacker, right? So, oh, look at this. So apparently we can't go there. Let me just see what's wrong. So we're here at DVWA, and I guess that was hackable uploads. Sorry about these things. They happen. Okay, so we're here in the index of hackable uploads. Now, a second measure that you can take to, upgrade your security is that even when you're uploading files to your system, you never want the files to be uploaded as the same name that they were uploaded with. You should always have your internal indexes or some form of string formatting that would name the files according to your preferences. So it could be today's date or something, or it could be some arbitrary form that you use to save the files. Because of that, even if there are 100 files saved here, if I'm the hacker and I know my payload is in this file, and if it's named the same way, then I can simply come here and click on this. But if, for example, your program saves those files under some other name, then it would be really impossible for me to go and find the file which is actually harmful. So all I have to do now, because this contains the virus, I need to click it. And if I come here and click it, you'll see right over here that it got a connection. It was listening on my own IP address at 9000, and suddenly it did get another connection request from 192.168.100 on this port. And now I have spawned a interpretation. What does this mean? This means that I can show you. If I do sysinfo, I basically own that machine now. It's showing me that I'm running at that I've been able to infiltrate a Linux machine named SDQPy and all that. And some other cool things that I can show. I can go to print working directly. I can see where the directories are. I can show all the processes that are running at the moment. And I literally own the machine. And then this part is for some of those hardcore Linux users who would like, no, I want to uh, deploy a shell over here. You can even do that. You can deploy a shell, and as you'll see, this is also a shell, and we can even use this command to stabilize this connection. And this is simple Python command where we import this module called pty, and then we tell pty to spawn uh, another command, and that would be bin bash. That's the Linux shell. And what this command will do, it's going to open a bash shell on the target machine, and now the connection is fully stable and we can use these things like a normal Linux shell. So now if I do who am I or sudo l, sorry about that, sudo L, it's going to show us all the things we can do with sudo. And another additional point that I'll give you guys is there's this other thing you can use is term and xterm, which will give us more functionalities in our shell. So now, okay, so it's still asking for the passwords, but we've infiltrated that machine. But let's just, for the sake of this video, let me just show what I was trying to do. So if you import xterm, now our shell has more commands and we can clear the things and all that. So I hope you guys found this interesting, and in the next video I am going to show if you even have a higher security in place which wouldn't allow to upload any sort of file, rather you can only upload a word or a jpeg file like most of the blogs do. I'll even show you how you can exploit that, and then hopefully learn how to save yourself against such exploits. So thank you for watching. Do please like and subscribe and share this video so that others can also benefit.